And welcome back, everyone. Since I got some free time until the box office report actually updates, or box office mojo, I should say, I figured let's do another installment of the How Strong Can This Zanpakuto Be series. And we're talking about Nejibana today, the Zanpakuto of the former lieutenant of Squad 13, Kaien Shibas. Now, we only ever actually learned this Zanpakuto because Onyero consumed him and basically absorbed his soul and his abilities, including his Zanpakuto. And I remember doing the Bankai video, and clearly it's a water type. It's one of the only pure water types we actually see. Hiyorimaru is an ice and water type, and it's apparently the strongest ice and water type as well. But the question, I've always found that a little odd. Like, it's an ice type. Yeah, it manipulates water, but it's not like, here's what I mean by it's weird. Hiyorimaru is not just like manipulating water. It's just creating ice. It's freezing water all day. It's not manipulating. Like, Hitsugai never is like using a giant wave of water and then freezing the ground with the water. It is always just ice that's shown, despite being an ice and water type. But ice is water anyway, so I'm like, wait, what? I think because it's a combination of both. It's not the strongest pure water type, just the strongest water type because it's using water. At least that's my interpretation. Maybe you're wrong. But Nejibana is just a pure water type, and it's described as crashing waves. Water emerges and constantly flows from the spiral tip on the end of the blade, and from the trident as well. And can manipulate it, use it for various attacks, things along those lines. Now, we do not know the Bankai of the Zanpakuto, and probably never will. But so keep in mind that whatever speculation I'm doing here, I'm doing solely on the Shikai, just as I did with Mauricio. Because without knowing the Bankai, I just cannot give you a proper answer to what I think the full potential of the Zanpakuto is in its entirety. We're just going to look at the Zanpakuto as we see it. And as we see it, it's pretty powerful. We don't see a lot of water elemental manipulation in general outside of fire. For God's sake, there's Yoreijin Chika, Engetsu, Tobayume, Snap. What was it? Snap. Why am I blanking on Love Zanpakuto? I'm blanking on it. It's the giant Kanambo that has the fire-based ability there. But yeah, there's 4 fire-based Zanpakutos alone, and those are the ones I remember. And we don't barely see anything involving wind. Except for a non-canon one with Senna. We don't see anything with Earth, really, except, again, a non-canon one in the filler arcs. You see Ice a couple times, and there's even a lightning-based one, but, barely anything on the other ones. So, what would be the full potential of a Zanpakuto like this? Well, I think right out the gate, it would be the amount of water it can create. I could totally see this being the equivalent of Ryujin Jika, maybe to a lesser state, mind you. You're not just swarming an entire planet with ocean, but swarming a city with ocean when you're at your peak. If you give someone like a Yamamoto or an Aizen or a Zaraki who have all of that spiritual pressure, you could definitely make an argument that you'd be doing Holybell levels of water or greater. In fact, Holybell is actually a really good example of where you could take the concept of the Zanpakuto, because her whole idea is water creation and manipulation. She fires a shark tooth-based a water shot. She's doing Cascade, which is a giant thing of boiling water. I don't know if you could do the boiling water aspect with the Zanpakuto. I personally think having a Zanpakuto that uses boiling water would be a separate ability and something a different character would have. I've actually done a Zanpakuto for that type of ability in my Zanpakuto Creation Series video. So I think the sheer amount of what Nejibana can do has to be taken into consideration. Or how much it can produce has to be taken into consideration. I believe also, we really don't see many techniques with this play except for just crashing waves. So I think experimenting as a user, if this were me, I would be practicing with different types of water-based moves. For example, creating a crescent arc and basically creating a blade of water that when you swipe your trident, you're now doing a slicing arc of water. That makes sense. Doing a protective sphere of water, just spinning your blade up over your head, maybe literally creating a whirlpool of water overhead using your spiritual pressure, whatever, creating almost like a water tornado, if you will, and then just throwing it at someone. Ideas like that are very, I think, within the realm of possibility for a Zanpakuto like this. It just sucks we never saw anything really beyond that. Still though, I think it's a good idea for a Zanpakuto. I saw one fake Bankai idea that he actually like absorbs. It's kind of like the water into him, or the ability to create water, so he barely has to move, and the water is just there. I I don't know if I like that idea. I feel like a Zanpakuto like this probably needs to be a bit grander of a Bankai. Not saying it can't be. I mean, it's because it's not that big. It's a Trident. That's great, but you don't want to condense something like this down. You need to have like a more, I think, wide, large effect. So there's definitely that. I think existing previous water that's around also, similar to like Horimaru can do, would also be very effective for the Zanpakuto. I think maybe I think theoretically doing like water clones, Naruto style this shit. I think that's possible. Although that seems almost more like an Urahara type of thing than a Kaien thing. So I don't know if that quite works. But either way, it's still a Zanpakuto that has a lot of room and potential to show off a lot of stuff. Like I said, creating the whirlpool overhead, a good idea. Creating a spinning dome, doing slicing arcs of water, things we didn't really see, or condensing the water to, gathering all the water up, but then condensing it with your spiritual pressure into like a single shot, and then maybe just thrust the spirit, basically just high pressure waters right through everything. That would be a really cool move. Focus it right at the tip. Like condensing water down, like that would be a really cool ability. High pressure water like jets, that kind of idea. So again, without knowing the Bankai, I can't go beyond that speculation, but I do think this is definitely one of those Zanpakuto that I wish we saw more of, because we could have seen a lot of room to grow there. Regardless, though, that's my thoughts. What do you think? How do you think this Zanpakuto could be expanded beyond the things I just said? Let me know in the comments below. But until then, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.